Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about how money works. Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about how money works. And this is a book that I just got and read, and it is by Tom Mathews and Steve Siebold. And this book was actually mailed to me by another individual on Instagram. And he said, "Hey Dave, I think that you're really gonna like this book and I wanna send you a free copy." And he did, and I got the copy and I read it. And it probably took me about 2 hours to read. I'm not the quickest reader by any means. And this book is approximately 115 pages long. Now, I would highly recommend this book to anybody that is wanting to understand how money works, or really anybody that doesn't have the best money habits already, or really just anybody that wants to increase their financial intelligence, right? And that's really what this book did for me, and what it does, right, is it teaches you the basics, the fundamentals of how money works. It is amazing. Okay, so here we are over on howmoneyworks.com. This is a website that's really just kind of promoting the book, but I wanted to pull this up real quick and show you guys because this book is so cool. In fact, the way that it was written, they really have a lot of animations. It's got a lot of pictures in it, and it is very, very colorful, right? So they have Easy Breezy. It's at 118 pages, and it can be read in under an hour. In fact, it took me probably 2 hours to read it because I'm just kind of slow at reading. But you could do it in an hour. I mean, I guess you truly could. It's got a lot of pictures in this book. Again, very, very colorful. And it was really one of the more fun books that I've ever read. I'm going to be honest. I mean, it was a fun book to read. Clear and powerful. Financial books suck. This one doesn't. It's got that right on their website. And I totally agree with it. It's a book that invites interaction. It does have some places where you can fill in the blanks, and it actually brings you, into the book and makes you part of it. And then it includes the 7 money milestones. So guys, if you haven't already checked this book out, you can find this book over on Amazon, and I'm going to give you my takeaway from this book. All right, so let's jump in. All right, guys, so the first 25-ish pages of this book really just talks about financial illiteracy and how financial illiteracy affects billions of people, not just millions, but literally billions of people. All right. Some of the things that really stuck out to me, in these first few pages of this book is 44% of Americans don't have enough cash to cover a $400 emergency. Wow. 43% of student loan borrowers are not making payments. Wow. 38% of households in America have credit card debt. That's a pretty high number. 33% of American adults have zero retirement savings. And it basically says that, financial illiteracy is a major issue in today. In teaching people that, learning how money works really isn't that difficult, right? You just got to know some very basic principles. So they actually teach 3 principles in this book, and we're going to dive into each of these briefly. But the first one they teach is the power of compound interest. And if you don't know about compound interest, you really need to get this book. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. In fact, Einstein said that compound interest was the most powerful force in the entire universe. So what we have here on the screen is a chart on how compound interest actually accumulates and how it compounds. So we have here just a 20-year chart. And you can see if we have a principal of just $1,000, right? We're not really going to be adding any money to this. We basically just start with $1,000. You can see that the blue area on the screen here will be the interest without compounding, right? This is just normal interest that you would occur over time. But the purple bar, you can see it kind of hockey sticks, right? It goes way up. That would be the compound interest that you would be able to acquire, assuming that your money is invested somewhere that compounds with interest. So basically how compound interest works is, let's say your money compounds monthly. Like you put it into an account that has, let's say, 6 or 8% annual interest, but it pays that interest monthly. So at the beginning of the month, you wouldn't have any interest, but at the end of month one, you would get some interest deposited in your account. Well, now, the next month, you're going to be earning money on your principal plus that small amount of interest. And then the next month, you're going to be earning money on that principal plus a small amount of interest from 2 different months. So in theory, what's happening is you're earning interest on your principal and the interest that you've acquired and gained. So it's basically interest making money on top of interest. So compound interest was the first thing that they talked about in this book. And again, if you don't know about compound interest, go do some research on it because it is so incredibly powerful. All right, the second concept they talk about in this book is the time value of money. And what this really means is it talks about the quicker and the sooner you are able to start investing, the better. And the longer your money is able to compound and use compounding interest, the bigger it will grow. So, if you start investing today and start saving today and you start compounding your money today, in 20 years, that money is going to grow to be way more than if you wait and you start investing 2 years from now or 3 years from now. So the time value of money is the second concept they talk about in this book. And man, is it a powerful one. All right, the third and final concept that they talk about in this book is the rule of 72. And what the rule of 72 does is it tells you how long it's going to take for your money to double. All right, so it's basically the interest rate is you're going to take 72 and you're going to divide it by the interest rate. Now, the cool thing about the rule of 72 is you can use this to determine how long it's going to take your own money to double, assuming you know your interest rate. But it's also going to tell you how long the debt that you owe money on is going to take to double. And that's really one of the major things that this book talks about is, knowing how money works. It's not always about, necessarily the amount of that you save and that you invest, but it's also about the debt that you may have or that you may have, brought into your life. And knowing how that money works is so important. So the third principle or concept is the rule of 72. How long will it take your money to double? You take 72 and you divide it by the interest rate. All right, so what we have here is an actual chart that shows the annual interest rate and then the rule of 72 and the actual number of years that it would take your money to double depending on your rate. So let's go to like 5%. 5%, the rule of 72, it's going to take your money approximately 14 years to double with a 5% interest rate. But if we go to a 10% interest rate, it's only going to take your money approximately 7 years to double. If we're able to get a 20% interest rate, it's only going to take your money 3.5 years to double. So you can use the rule of 72 Take 72 divided by your interest rate to determine how long it's going to take your money to double. So some of the things they talk about in the book that you should use the rule of 72 for would be your savings or your money market account. Know how long it's going to take that money to double. Also, maybe your 401k, any IRAs or CDs that you may have, index funds, mutual funds. This could also be, stock accounts or even real estate accounts that you have. Figure out how long it's going to take your money to double. But on the flip side, know the debts that you have and how long it's going to take those debts to double. So do you have credit cards or car loans or maybe a home mortgage or a student loan? Figure out those interest rates. Take 72, divide by those rates, and figure out how long it is going to take that money to double. This works for you and against you. One of the main things that really caught my eye in this book, some of the quotes, I'm going to read you real quick, but the national average interest rate for a savings account is 0.09%. That's less than 1%. So if you take 72 and you divide that by 0.09%, that means that it is going to take you 800 years for your money to double, assuming you have it in a normal average savings account that has a savings rate of 0.09%. Now, compare that to the national average interest rate for credit cards. All right, credit cards, the average interest rate is approximately 17%. Okay, so if you take 72, and you divide that by 17%, that means that the amount that you owe your credit cards, if you're making just the minimum payments, is going to, in fact, double every 4.2 years. So a sucker will wait 800 years for their money to double, while others, like credit card companies, figured out how to get their money to double every 4.2 years. And that's such a cool thing, guys. This book tells you how to stop being a sucker and learn how you can get your money to double, and using the time value of money, compound interest, and the rule of 72. Those are the three concepts and principles that they really hit home on in this book. All right, guys, and last but not least, they finished the book up with the 7 money milestones. So after you learn these 3 concepts or these 3 principles about how money works, they really want to roll out and teach you all how the 7 money milestones to financial security and independence can get you there, right? How these 7 money milestones will get you to financial security and hopefully get you to independence, right? So what are the 7 money milestones? Well, number 1 is get financial education. So really the best way to do that is to buy this book right here, right? You can get it on Amazon. It's amazing. I don't make anything off of this. I just really want to spread the word, all right? Number 2, secure proper protection, and you do so using insurance, all right? Number 3, create an emergency fund. Such a valuable lesson to learn, in the beginning, to create an emergency fund. Most Americans don't even have an emergency fund. Next, apply debt management. Debt can actually, be a good thing if you use it properly, but if you have debt already, do everything in your power to get out of debt. Next, increase cash flow. All right, you can learn about hundreds of different ways to make your money make money. So increase cash flow will be the next milestone. Beyond that, build your wealth, then protect your wealth, and finally, use the money discovery sheet that they give you in this book to understand where you're at now so you can set goals and have a plan in place to get where you want to go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and my review of how money works. I think this is basically one of the easiest reads to learn how money works, and I give this book 5 stars. So head on over to Amazon, check it out. I highly recommend it for all ages. And again, you can read this book in about an hour, maybe 2 if you're slow like me. Thanks for watching. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe so you can get more videos just like this one.